Shabbat Shalom, and happy not Hanukkah anymore. That's right. When Shabbat comes in, at the same moment, the festival of Hanukkah will be over. This is pretty rare that Hanukkah ends on a Friday afternoon. There's something even more rare about this Shabbat. Where were you and what were you doing on the 30th of December of the year 2000? If you can remember being in shul that morning, you would have heard the Haftarah assigned for this week's Parsha when it is not Rosh Chodesh and not Hanukkah. Happens less than a quarter of all years. The last time that this special Haftarah was read was 20 years ago, and we're going to read it this Shabbat. It's usually Shabbat Hanukkah. Sometimes there are two Shabbases in Hanukkah because Hanukkah is 8 days long. This is a really special Shabbat. It is Parshat Miketz, which is the story of Yosef rising to power in Egypt. He has the wisdom to interpret Pharaoh's dreams, and he becomes the second most powerful man in Egypt, perhaps in the world. Dreams, wisdom, and judgment. Pharaoh appoints him to such a high position so quickly because Yosef not only tells Pharaoh that his dreams mean that there will be a famine after 7 years of plenty. He gives Pharaoh a plan to stockpile grain in the 7 good years. Our rabbis assigned Haftarot, assigned the selections from the book of prophets that we read after the Torah reading. They made these decisions of what to read by some connection between the content in the book of the books from the prophets and our Torah reading. The story that they assigned for this week, which we almost never read, is from the book of Kings. It is the story of another wise man who had a dream. It's the story of King Solomon, who just before our reading picks up, had been dreaming, and God offers to reward Shlomo with anything he wishes. And Shlomo chooses wisdom. And he awakes, and it's a dream. Our first line is, "Then Solomon awoke. It was a dream." And the next day, his newly acquired wisdom is put to the test when he holds court. And the famous story of 2 women coming before him, claiming one of the rare cases in history of a maternity trial of whose baby is whose, he is presented with. This Shabbat morning, I'm going to be talking about this story because it is the first time in 20 years we've had the opportunity to read it. This isn't a regular occurrence. I'm sure there is some formula to use to figure out exactly which years we will read this. This important, strange, and chilling story that involves threatening to cut a baby in half. Perhaps that's one of the reasons we sort of don't read it that often, because it can be very painful. When these rare occasions happen, we have the opportunity to reflect. Where was I 20 years ago? Where am I going to be in 3 years, the next time we read it? And where am I going to be? I can't even find it that easily on the internet the next time after that, which will be several decades. I hope you join us Shabbat morning as we read and discuss the Haftarah for Miketz, First Book of Kings, chapter 3, verse 15 to chapter 4, verse 1, the story of the wise judgment of Solomon, and what is it that is wisdom in a leader. I'm obviously very excited. I hope you are as well. Shabbat Shalom. I look forward to seeing you across the screen.